Hi, this is no ordinary voice of spiritual ventriloquism. You are listening to the dummy himself. Well, let's see here. What are we going to talk about tonight? I want to talk about Merton's strain theory. Robert Merton in 1938 came out with a thing called his strain theory, and it was based upon social acceptance, social goals, social norms, and things like that. It had to do with how people either accept the goals or accept the means or not of any given social construct that you find yourself in or living in or whatever group of people you're around. And without going too far in this, you have to start out that when mankind started here on this ball of confusion, they were hunter-gatherers, and society basically was very tight-knit. It required a collective for survival, okay? So therefore, any ideas that someone might have as far as how to increase his economy or whatnot was either accepted or rejected by the group as a whole. So individuality was limited. Compliance was mandatory, which would include ostracization, or even murder of those who were falling outside of what was called acceptable behavior. Okay. Now, as hunter-gatherer societies started to develop over into agrarian, more agrarian societies, and became more resource intense, that's when things started to expand outward. So you had tribal societies would be a good example versus a civil society. Okay, civil societies they influenced, or I should say, they actually helped. Because there were plenty of resources being shared or bartered amongst each other, and it wasn't, they came out with money. So, like the guy said in the movie, you didn't have to kill each other just to get something to eat. So what happened was, individuality, privacy, and emphasis on privacy and things like that began to take a greater effect in the world and other social or societal classes, whether they were religious or whether they were, just political or anything like that. You had spin-offs of this base type social constructs, okay? And what happened and came out of that was, that's where this Robert K. Merton started developing this thing called strain theory, where you accepted certain social goals, and then you would also either accept or not accept the means, or you wouldn't accept the goals, but you would accept means to in order to create new goals. Okay, so then you would then begin to form other social collectives. So anyway, what's interesting is that the decision making that the people had to make in those times, whether or not that they were going to be ostracized or cast out, exiled, or murdered due to their non-compliance or to expressing some of their individualism, and so as civil societies came into being, like in the Sumerian society, the Mesopotamian society, and ultimately the the Egyptian society, all formed civil codes in which to begin to create a basis of being able um, to develop things like criminal codes and things like that. They came out with actual judicial systems that were, that were based more on individuality and privacy, and trying to protect those things so that their society could be free to create markets and expand, and improve the lives of as many people as possible. And that didn't always work for everybody, because usually the ones that were on the top were the ones who dictated how that society was going to operate, whether or not it was a tribal hunter-gatherer society, a tribal agrarian society, or whether it was a more industrial, later on, more industrialized civil society with a civil code. So basically, the Robert K. Merton strain theory basically kind of typed and out, the types of responses that individuals would have because of individualism, and every person's need to express their individuality, which I believe was a God-given right, a God-given trait, if you want to use the term generically, God, and that people were able to exercise more freedom to pursue their goals and the means of their goals. Okay, now a lot of times you would have people, they would engage into some type of fraud or something like that in order to obtain that, because of the constraints and the strains that were existed within their society, to achieve their individual goals through the means that they were able to, whether it would be education or whether it would be their street smarts or something like that. So societies and individuals are actually a whole lot more complex than what we originally thought they were. And our what do you say? Our lives, sometimes we just accept things as they are, and we work for some ethereal, elusive goal, just because it's our habit to work hard or something like that. So we just basically kind of go along with the group because of our gregarious herd needs, because we're like cattle. We want to be around other like cattle, okay? And that's just a social and a societal construct that has to do with the fact that we have this and we have thumbs also, and we're able to create and things like that with those two mechanisms, and we begin to pursue what we want to pursue for ourselves, which is not in a lot of societies, especially amongst medieval European construct societies, with the what do you say, the absolute influence and power of the Catholic Church, for example, at that time. People were basically conformed to religious ideals, religious means to obtaining those goals collectively, and pretty much didn't gives two shits about you as an individual. And we see that often today in social orders, groups of people, and things like that. And religious groups, cults, okay? And so the thing of it is that in every society there is a strain that's involved. And if anything I've said to you is upsetting, next time bring a life jacket. Have a good Shabbat. Shalom.